Hello, cool cats and kittens. I am Brian, and this is FM22 Salisbury, Year 2, Episode 2. Apologies for the slight delay in getting this video up. Busy work week, minor illness, December. This should be a rather straightforward episode that's nearly all about the match to close the show. Just prior to the last episode, we'd acquired a new lone striker, Aaron Blair, to spell our two stop starters, and we'd acquired a new center midfielder, Jordan Cranston, who could also play on the left, which gave us needed flexibility and depth. And we even managed to reacquire Jamie Egan, our loanee center back from the previous year, on another loan. We paid for the one signing by moving two players we'd signed over the summer, but who had misjudged their talent levels. It was an awkward situation where they didn't want to leave because they'd only been here 3 to 4 months, but they were upset at their lack of playing time, and I couldn't see that changing, which is not the answer they wanted to hear, and it turned into a vicious cycle of bad attitudes. Luckily, we did move both of them. No fees, but the other team did take on their entire salaries, so that kept us mostly positive on the bank sheet. In other news, we had our second youth intake. As you may have noticed, the first go-around, we signed no one from the youth intake because there was no one who was remotely close to first-team levels, and we don't have a U18 team. That changed this year as Brett Goodship came through the intake. I've applied a face pack giving him a nationality and ethnicity appropriate face, but not an age appropriate one, so Brett is now the most 29-year-old looking 16-year-old in the world. Unfortunately, we don't currently play with any sort of attacking midfielder, and Brett is on the smaller and weaker side to play right midfield, and not quite talented enough to play up top, but perhaps our immensely talented coaching staff will get him there one day. We also had a takeover, as Ian Hammond chose to step down as chairperson of the club, while the club was bought out by a consortium headed by Steve Merchant, presumably not gangly comedian Stephen Merchant. He did drop $40,000 into our general fund, which was nice of him, and gives us a steady quantity to slowly lose until the big paydays at the end of the season. We did turn around our performance in January, starting with that big 5-0 win we broadcast over Hayes and Yetting, with 10-game unbeaten streak until we faced first-place South Shields and dropped the game to them, which hurt our chances of catching them. We played well after that, but we hit the hard part of our schedule at the end of the year, and combined with Ali Al-Hamadi going to represent Iraq again in the Asian Cup, we picked up 2 draws we couldn't afford and took second in the conference and lost the Southern League Premier Cup in the finals. So, second place in the SPS. We face second place in the English Isthmian League, Corinthians Casuals. If we win that, then one more win takes us up a league. A loss leaves us in the same spot we're in right now. My episode with 2 games that ran 45 minutes did considerably worse in views than the other 2, so I'll only be presenting the first game this episode, assuming there's a second episode. If we win this, then there'll be another episode covering our second game and the aftermath. If we lose, then it may be another couple of days before the next episode as I rebuild the team to try to get us through the Southern Premier League again. So, let's go to the match. Recommendation from Callum Hart to go positive. I agree with that. We did make a late season signing of James Morris, left back with a considerable amount of pace. Good all around everywhere else. His pace won't be as useful given the formation we play and how our fullbacks just kind of shuttle between the midfield and defensive line and don't really threaten the opposition's end line, but it'll be hard for anyone at this level to charge past him defensively. That's good. Also, we have tended to move away from playing Lewis Lynn at defensive midfielder and have taken to playing Bradley Green there. He's a better player, maybe a little more limited, but Lynn's given us nothing at that spot, and so Bradley Green, just trying to get our best players on the pitch doing that. I do unfortunately need to edit my attacking instructions as they are just chill there, poorly set up for that change. Play the ball to the near post. Play the ball to the near post. Okay. Since we are out, Ali Al-Hamadi still out in the Asian Cup, so we are playing our backup striker, which means we are down one player who is good at heading. So we want to just target Green. Bradley Green. All right. Tell the boys. Oh, that didn't go over especially well. Let's tell the attackers that we have faith in them. At least Devin Arnold gets motivated from that. And if we're going to win this, he'll probably have to be the one to do it. Take us to kickoff. And it looks like they get to start of possession. Cycling it out. Bringing it up. And Dickinson starting things off with a foul. I think also part of the problem there in our losing streak in late December was that the Hickman set piece, Forrester, first goal of the season. Okay, not quite because, you know, the calendar kind of turned over and we're on that weird schedule. But hey, beautiful start to the game for us. Love it. Great to see it. Back to the losing streak. I believe part of it was that we had tended to get stuck in too much. So we were facing... we had the instruction to be more aggressive in our tackling. And that was leading to the opposition getting a few penalty chances, but then also just free kick chances from outside the box in good position and generally dominating possession by us just tackling too hard and committing fouls. So I think part of our improvement in the second half of the year has been the fact that I've mostly not been telling them to tackle hard. I haven't been telling them to stay on their feet either, but nice middle ground. We still want the ball, but... let's not get ourselves sent off. Let's not give them free opportunities in good positions. People forward to Dialby. Oh, thank goodness, off the woodwork. O'Sullivan, there's no one around to pressure him, so he can take his time retrieving the ball. Starting us out. Looks like they're playing a 4-4-2 as well, and Hickman will take the corner. Should be playing this near post, and gets cycled out, and let's try it again. So in the past, I have read a couple books on soccer football tactics, particularly the new level, newer breakthroughs, talking about XG and such things that go with my analytical bent on the game. And one of the things I read and believe is that generally you want to have in-breaking corner kicks. At this level, we don't really have the luxury of having a ton of multi-footed players or having multiple players who are good at putting in corner kicks. So we just kind of have to deal with whatever we have. Forrester plays it forward to Blair. Touch. Goal. Beautiful. 2-0 right before the half. It's going to send Corinthians in. And, their coach is going to be angry with them. Good stuff. Forrester doing it all for us today. Got the first goal, got the key assist there up to the backup. I am hopeful, though I'm not sure, that we might have Al-Hamadi back for the second game. Iraq cannot qualify out of the Asian Cup group stage. They lost their first 2 games, and the top 2 teams won their first 2 games, so they're already through. So they have a consolation game against the team that lost both their games. I was looking to see if I could recall Al-Hamadi since the game was irrelevant. I couldn't find that as an option. And because we still have critical soccer to play here. But I think he will be finished before then. Egan up to Blair, 1-on-1 again. Nice. And Aaron Blair, unlike the previous couple games, playing making us not regret having Ali Al-Hamadi on the Iraqi national team. I'm going to skip this. 3-0 lead, and there's no point in pulling it back. The best way to make sure we win this game is to score a 4th goal or a 5th goal. It's not to try and get defensive and let the other team have a lot of possession and don't create good chances for themselves. Through to Dialby, and good diving save by Beauchamp. It's nice to see a stadium this packed. I can't remember which neutral site this is. It'll be interesting if we do climb the leagues to see exactly how our stadium adventure goes, because obviously Raymond McKenna Hill Stadium is not big enough to hold a team at some of the higher leagues. So at some point we'll be forced to start building a new stadium, and at other points probably have to rent out other people's stadiums. Arnold plays it forward to Blair. Hat trick? Blair not quite with the quality to convert that opportunity. Dickinson on the end of his foot to Morris. Cranston, Forrester, Arnold. Arnold all the way back to Morris. Sits, plays it forward. Arnold, nope, cut out by the defense. And get the boys back on retreat. Plays it forward. Unfortunately, Egan, not exactly fleetest of foot. In fact, the least fleet of foot amongst the team, gets beat to the spot, and Diaby is a problem in that role. It's nice to have a lead. Hickman, set piece, Bradley Green. So close. All right. Usually I'd often make a full trio of substitutions here. I will do a bit of time wasting by breaking them up over a couple minutes each. I'm not above game playing. So we're just going to pull the complacent players who are also most tired and also haven't had the highest rating. So Cranston's going to be first off for Ruben Duncan. And here about 73, 74, sure. We'll go ahead and... Yeah, we're not going to take Forrester off. He's doing well. We'll go ahead and put Lynn in for Jamie Bradley Green. Hickman back to O'Sullivan, to Egan. Having a bit of a kickabout there. Hickman starts moving it forward, up to Duncan. Looks for Blair, but Blair doesn't have the jets, doesn't think he can get there, doesn't even try. They go back and try to threaten our defensive line, but they are very good at headers, thankfully. That's what I pay them for. Not much, and frankly, I don't pay Egan at all, because Loney. But Duncan, up the middle, blasts it, but off the goalkeeper's hands. That'll take us to a corner. Looks like they're making another substitution. I think that might be their third. Gets loose. Hannigan on the break. Plays the Diaby. O'Sullivan. We have our left and right back there. So guys with pace as opposed to Egan. To prevent that sort of breakaway opportunity. Up to Arnold. One-on-one. And blasts it into the stands. All right. Callum Hart thinks Forrester's gassing out now. This freeze frame makes it look like Beauchamp is simultaneously jumping and dabbing. So, that's fun. I will go ahead and follow his recommendation. Drozd is one of my better substitutes. And move him in at left wing with 9 minutes left in regulation. Not sure if he was on sides or not. Looks like the assistant had to raise his flag, but Beauchamp managed to save anyways. 82 minutes. Here in about 3 minutes, we will let the team know that we are happy if they want to start time wasting on out of possession, out of bounds plays. Take their time resetting everything. Dickinson, good job cutting in there, playing it forward to Arnold. Unfortunately, the center back stayed with him the whole way. Take it out for a corner here, though. So that's generally a positive outcome. Hickman will play it in, looking for Lynn because we subbed out Bradley Green. And not quite what we want to be doing these days, but with the amount of time left, I'll be fine with it. Lynn's a bit undersized. We made those specific changes just for Bradley Green. Cat again trying to get to the end. O'Sullivan does a good job of staying with him. Plays it across, but Beauchamp makes the save. Okay, let's go ahead and put in some instruction changes here. We will tell them to waste time as much as they want. O'Sullivan surveys, finds Hickman, plays it back to O'Sullivan. Forward up to Hickman. Sullivan to Lynn. I don't know what Lynn was thinking there. He's going to score a goal. Luckily, looks like they call a foul on the other side. Arnold breakaway. And it looks like Egan playing it up to Arnold will give us, hopefully, what is our final margin? And 3-goal lead means I don't even feel like I need. It's beautiful. It's just Arnold's speed means he's going to outrace so many center backs. Good job for Egan for gambling on that play. We'll just leave it on positive. We won't retreat into a heavy defensive shell because we have a 3-goal lead. If this is a 1-goal lead, maybe even a 2-goal lead, maybe a different story. All right. Diaby is dangerous. That is something to know. Sullivan does just a terrible job there keeping him on sides, though. Just running way too forward. Needs to be sticking closer to Matthews. Morris plays it forward to Arnold. Looks to head it forward to Blair, but Blair doesn't really run onto it. Kind of disappointing effort from Blair after immense quality in the mid part of the game with him bagging 2 goals. A brace. One of you fine Brits will have to educate me someday about where exactly the term brace comes from. Beauchamp scrambles and corrals the loose ball. And take your time, survey the field, figure out where the best person to distribute to is. So says plays it long. Not sure I would have gone that well. Lynn, good job cutting it out there. Up to Duncan, out to Draws, plays along to Arnold. He's got the step. Devin Arnold said, "Hey, no, I really want that 3-goal win." So why don't you knock it off, Diaby? We do have Arnold under contract for next year, along with, I believe, Jamie Bradley Green and I think Hickman, who just has gone out with an injury here, unfortunately, in the 93rd minute. Ugh, brutal. And Dickinson on the back line. I have tried to... and speaking of Dickinson, he grabs a 4-goal lead for us here at the end as he heads it into the goalie's hands, but it's so hard, he can't contain it, and it falls in anyways. I gotta see this again. Because this is the side of beautiful, flukish play that you get at this level. High quality. So if Hickman is not available in 3-4 days for the finals of the promotion playoffs, we'll probably be playing Jude Arthurs there in that spot. It's just a torrent there at the end. Beautiful stuff. Great job, guys. You deserve it. 6-2. Great scoreline. Interesting, only 5 games. South Shields game isn't here. Gainsborough, who we played last time, got through 2-2 on penalties. And Go Sport, the team in third for us, fell to Warrington. Alright, and so Hickman is injured and is out for 3 to 4 weeks. He is unfortunately an injury-prone player. I will send Callum Hart to go talk to the press. Scouting update. These don't look like good enough players to talk to, even though we're looking at that currently. And we will advance just long enough to see who we are playing in the next round, which should be happening today. Yes, Forster has looked great. Thank you. Again, I don't necessarily believe that note about Al Hamadi and him being unavailable for many weeks. All right, let's view the draw. South Shields did go through. And that's unfortunately who we have to face for our spot. South Shields, who beat us twice on this year. And I thought we struggled in those games, so hopefully we will have an answer for them. Anyways, so I will be recording another video here very shortly. I appreciate you for sticking around. Let me know any thoughts, comments you might have. Thank you very much. Have a good day.